Hey everybody, Joe here. I'm back again, and now I thought this would be easy. And, well, putting the list together was easy, but recording this in a nice, concise manner, without a net, unedited, raw footage was what I was going to do with this. Kick it old school. It's not happening, and I'm going to have to make this an edited video, but I'm not going to script it, not going to do anything with that, no gameplay footage going up. I am going to just hold my games out and talk to the camera in a nice throwback to my old videos. I know I've been doing this with the pickup videos, putting up raw footage, but I was challenged by PK's Retro Reviews to do my top 5 most nostalgic games list. I'm sure many of you in the community are well aware of this challenge, and I don't remember who started it. I want to say it was like Musty Hobbit or someone like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he was the first one who I saw do this and send it out to other people. For the record, as for challenging, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I'm not going to name any names. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are chomping at the bit to do this anyway, and you know what? Don't wait for somebody to ask you. Just frickin' do it, okay? But anyway, let's get into your list, my list, everybody's list. Opinions are like buttholes. We all got them. They all stink. Here's my opinion. For the Atari 2600, the port of David Crane's Commodore 64 game, computer versions, the 64 versions, awesome. Once it got the consoles, not so hot. They deleted a lot to make the Atari 2600 game, and everybody knows about how blech, yucky that NES version is. I know I've got it over here. I talked about it in one of my videos, my worst video ever. That's my top 10 worst NES games video. Even I gave that video a thumbs down, but that's besides the point. I thought it was clever at the time. You know, we all have thoughts like that, but this game, it seemed so cool because it was the first 2600 game I ever played to have background music and actually try to be a lot more than any other 2600 game I ever played, and I freaking loved Ghostbusters back then. Got this game, I want to say it was 86, might have been 87. I know it was bought brand new at like a Toys R Us for me, which, you know, I'm old. You know, I remember brand new 2600 games. No, I'm sure a lot of people remember brand new 2600 games, but it brings back a lot of memories playing this with friends, trying to figure out what the heck to do, and when we did, we got through it and played it, and it's actually a 2600 game you can beat, which is pretty darn cool. And it's much more playable than that NES game, which is saying a lot. But yes, the Ghostbusters game. I know some of you will see the blue label. I mean, I mentioned this in my review of this game way back when it was the day Harold Ramis died. I put that up. In fact, I wrote it, shot it, put it together, posted it all in one day, just because, you know, I got to do something because, you know, I was such a huge Ghostbusters fan. And I mean, I'll put an annotation or a card up for that. Anyway, love this game, still do. May have to bust out the 2600 and play it again. Next up, Mortal Kombat for the Genesis. If you like, or say you like, or think that the Super Nintendo version's better, you're wrong. This one's better. That goes without saying. Everybody knows that. This is such a fun game. This was the second or third Genesis game I ever owned. You know, this is the one that really first wowed me. I don't know, Sonic didn't do it. Even like WWF Royal Rumble, I think, was the other one that I had. And that one didn't do it. This just was the first game that really made me go, wow, this looks awesome. The future's here when it comes to video games. And it's weird to get, like, you know, nostalgic thoughts and, like, happy memories associated with a game about maiming people. But yeah, that's exactly what this is. And it's frickin' great. Now, I'm holding a Game Boy. I don't even have the game that's on this list on my Game Boy. I just thought it'd be a good prop to gesture and hold the Game Boy. Also, if I don't think I mentioned this before. I might have showed it in an Instagram post. I got the backlight mod on here. It's kind of cool. I'd gladly do it again. And I'd probably do a much neater job because there's actually almost bellied out in the plastic right here for where you had to put the solder joint and whatnot. But anyway, the game on this list at number 3 is Metroid 2 Return of Samus, which at the time was one of the best looking Game Boy games. That tunnel theme song. You know the one. I'm not going to hum it or do anything about that. It's just, you know, one of those bits of game music which just permeated my brain, is stuck in there ever since. The game that's number 1 on my list has a song just like that, and also Flashman Stage on Mega Man 2 is another serious example of that. But like I said, at the time, Metroid 2 looked so freaking good, it really knocked me out. I mean, I couldn't get that thing out of my Game Boy for the longest time, and it really captured that, you know, alone and lost atmosphere of the NES version to me. And in fact, I still to this day like Metroid 2 better than I like the original, and love the hell out of it. Haven't played it since I did my review, may have to change that. And these two games, if you know me well enough, I'm sure you can guess what these two already are. It was a little tricky trying to decide which was 1, which was 2, but I came up with the right idea. And at number 2 is Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. These two games I unwrapped Christmas morning 1988 when I got my NES. And this game, I remember putting it in the NES for the first time. We actually set a TV and the Nintendo up on the kitchen table just to like check it out, see it work. Everybody, you know, mom, dad, my sister, gathered around the TV. And it was just like, wow, look at this. This is, you know, we never saw anything like that before. Yeah, you know I'm a fan of Castlevania 2. It's my only bit of like art or something related to a game that really displayed. Except for there's a cartridge complete in box up here too, which we'll get into later, but Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, you know. Another game that I beat early on, one of the very first games that I beat, thank you Nintendo Power, and can't say enough about why I like it. Let's just go right into the number 1 list. I have a Japanese version of it complete in box right up here. You know what this is already, I'm sure. Super Mario 2. You put it in your NES, you push down, close the lid. You gotta close the lid, it's superstition. Hit that power button, hear that title theme, boom. Cheshire Cat, Kool-Aid Man, say what you want to say. Big frickin' smile on my face just thinking about it. There's something about this game that is just beyond special, and it's so hard to put into words. I mean, I probably played this more than anything else, ever, when it came to my NES. More than Mario 3, which is kind of hard to believe because, you know, it was Mario freaking 3. More than any other game. It's just really hard to put words together thinking about some of these games because these games, it's just defined, you know, a good chunk of me growing up. This is what I did, you know, shut myself in my room and just play these games. They're freaking great. They still are. And that's my list. I can't say enough about these games, really. And I figured, let's just go with it. Talk about the games. They're awesome. You guys are awesome because you just sat through this. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Take care.